All right, we are back, and this is the episode that follows the fourth week of the MLB season, and we are here to talk about fantasy baseball from the Infinity Fantasy Baseball League.
What the hell is he wearing? What is that?
All right, so what am I wearing? Cardinals, World Series, The Problem, 2011. Like, what the hell? There are 13-year-old kids out there that have never seen the Cardinals win a World Series. I'm just saying. I mean, I know there's also 13-year kids out there that have never seen, like, ALD3, Matt's Marauders, Raleigh Fingers Your Sister. I could go down this list for a while. Brick City Mules, Juno S. I mean, you get the picture, right? But my anger is right now with the Cardinals. I'm not going to get into it. That's not the purpose of this podcast. We have something more important to talk about. You might remember this from just about a week ago. My money's going to be on Hit Pitches, Get Bitches, and I am going to call for an upset. Hit Pitches, Get Bitches gets the upset this week. Tops Redvine Redbirds. That's right, I called it. I called the upset victory.
Sell 5. That's the cool kind.
Okay, now we are going to get to all the game recaps, but I want to stay on this one for a second. Because this one has a lot more going to it. Now, if you remember, like, we're 4 weeks into the season. If you remember the first 3 weeks of the season and that time between the draft and the opening of the season and that time between the keeper's lock and the draft, we pretty much endured this.
I know more than you.
But then came along Hit Bitches, Get Pitches.
What the hell?
Little something here for you, Redvine Redbirds. You might be asking, was this a blowout? No, it was not. It was very close. In fact, Hit Pitches, Get Bitches won the first 3 days. That's not a big deal. Didn't have a commanding lead at all. Redvine Redbirds brings it back to a single-digit difference on Thursday. Friday, not much of a difference. Saturday, Redvine Redbirds outscores by like 30 points or so and takes the lead. Going into Sunday, Redvine, Mr. Redbird, has the lead, and he's probably sitting pretty. Probably just dialing it in, sitting back in his house, just chilling, and no, not good enough. You got to bring it when you play Hit Pitches, Get Bitches. She is a monster. She had like an 8-game win streak last year. She's got a good draft. She's got a good team. You can't just dial it in against her. So she comes in. Okay, let's be honest. Her hitting on Sunday was crap. She left 10 points on the bench in Davis Snyder. Only scored 9 points total on hitting, but the pitching is where she took care of business. Now, Redvine Redbirds didn't have a bad pitching outing on Sunday. He had Glasnow going. Glasnow had 43 points. That should be enough to win any game, right? Would beat my sorry team's ass. But no, it wasn't enough because Hit Pitches, Got Bitches scored 98 points. Mitchell Parker. Who? Mitchell Parker. Who? Mitchell Parker. Washington Nationals. It's like in my backyard, and I don't even know who this guy is. At least I don't know that he can put up 40 points on you. 40 points on Houston. What the hell? Not only that, 26 points by Michael Lorenzen. Okay, that's fair. But against Atlanta, on the road? Come on, man. Redvine should never have lost this match. Never. And I bet you he's just dumbfounded. And yeah, in fact, this is some video from Monday morning, him just questioning how this happened.
What? How did you do this?
Well,
Seeing as how I have no brains or legal expertise, and Ed here was losing all faith in the system, am I right?
Oh, yeah, completely no faith, no faith.
I just went up there and performed sexual favors. 634 blowjobs in 5 days. I'm really quite tired.
Congratulations to Hit Pitches Get Bitches. I mean, that is a victory that the entire league needed. We really needed to knock him down a little bit, and we now have no undefeated teams. So that's wonderful. We have some parity in this league apparently, that a 2-loss, I guess Hit Pitches Get Bitches broke a 2-loss streak to top our undefeated, just absolute monster of a team in Mr. Redbird. Anyway, let's get to the other games. Raleigh Fingers Your Sister topped Bat Flippin' Boys.
Those are my only pants.
Honey Nut Cheerios topped Brick City Mules.
Please, don't fall.
Krusty Brand Baseball topped our own Arizona Diablos Blancos. Now this situation deserves a little bit more attention. Because if I look at the standings, and I bring the standings up, and I'm looking at them, in absolute last place in the Western Division is Krusty Brand Baseball Team. Now, they are sitting behind ALD3 Sour Grapes. But here's the kicker, and you can thank the commissioner for this one. Krusty Brand Baseball Team is in last place. We've played 4 games. They have 2 wins. They're 2-2 in the real world. But in our league, they're sitting in last place behind a winless ALD3 Sour Grapes. And let's see here. Give me 1 second. Let's see what Brick City Mules has done. What have they done to deserve their higher seating? So ironically, Brick City Mules is 2 spots above with the same number of wins as Krusty Brand Baseball Team. I don't get it, right? I don't get it. What's going on here?
It's a conspiracy like in the X-Files.
You want to hear something even crazier? Krusty Brand Baseball Team, one of their wins was over Brick City Mules. So, go figure, man. Go figure.
You can't keep getting away with it.
Anyway, we're going to talk about that in the future. We're not getting into it this week. That requires too deep of a dive. I'm going to put some numbers together, and hopefully next week we can talk about this. Oh, by the way, next week we're taking the podcast on the road, Mexico City. We'll see. I'm on vacation next week, but if I love y'all, if I can figure out how to love all 15 of you, I will take time out of that trip and I will put a podcast together from Mexico City. I talk big now, but when I'm there, we'll see. We'll see what happens next week. Just trying to point this out for Krusty Brand Baseball Team as they're sitting down there in the cellar with a 41% chance of making the playoffs. I just want to make sure that that the world knows that Krusty Brand is not that crap team that the standings in the Infinity League show. Anyway, we're moving on. Juneau Eskimos, one of my favorite teams. Power Ranking seems to like them as well. They handed TNT their 3rd loss in a row.
Like this. Okay, can you go like this? Can you go like that?
Okay, Grip It and Rip It hands ALD3 Sour Grapes their 4th loss in a row. Maybe we can go back to last season and see how many losses they have in a row. But right now, for this season alone, it's 4 losses. Also, we have the next one is Team Auto Draft, right? We had counted them out. I think all 16 teams had counted out Matt's Marauders after the draft. and we did not realize how powerful his keepers were. Now, Matt's Marauders is having a nice season. They are, we expected them just to be a runaway, like a free victory for anybody that played them. I think those of us in the Eastern Division were excited because we got to play Matt's Marauders multiple times. But now that's crazy. He's got a 2-game winning streak. He scored over 500 points last week. He was in over 400 this week, of course. But, you know, aside from a off first week, and that was a weird 4-day thing, I don't know. Nobody wants to play Matt's Marauders right now. I'm going to keep calling them Team Auto Draft, but I don't know that that really means what I thought it would mean back in the beginning of the season. Anyway, did I say this already? Team Auto Draft tops J to the P, glides to that victory. Team J to the P had gotten off exactly the reverse, right? Team J to the P had gotten off to a hot start at the beginning of the season, and somehow maybe they just they're like it's like a Freaky Friday thing or something, because Matt's Marauders was not doing so well. Well, anyway, they seem to have flipped. J to the P has got multiple losses in a row now. Let's see, what does he got? I can't even find him on here. He's got 3 losses. Can't seem to put up points. Hasn't even hit the 400-point mark in 2 weeks. All right, that leaves us with 1 game remaining to talk about. And in any other season, this would have been the game of the week. But with Breaking Brad having been so slow to get out of the gates, this match didn't seem to attract any attention. It looked like it was going to be a hashtag blowout. But Breaking Brad finally shows up. It only took 4 weeks. Now, we will say that he had a lot of favorable pitching this week. He had some double starts in his pitching staff, and having Cabrera back in a double start, I think, didn't hurt, right? Also, a little anomaly in the scoring here. No, I don't know if that's the right word. Breaking Brad out stolen based hashtag by 20 bases. 40 points. So 40-point difference in stolen bases between the two teams. Not sure it makes any difference. Not sure it's anything but interesting, but I stumbled across it. I thought it was worth sharing. So anyway, Breaking Brad gets his first victory of the season, and I have to say it is an oh shit moment. I think the league is hoping this was just a one-off for Breaking Brad, but we kind of know it's that tiger. The tiger has been unleashed. And yeah, let's just hope Breaking Brad has not returned. There's enough competition in this league. Although most of that competition is with the scoring and the way the standings are put together. But still, anyway. Hashtag, thought he had control of the division. It looks like he got handed his first loss. He was over 500 points. So, again, hashtag again was over 500 points. And the 500-point club consisted only of these 2 guys, these 2 players in this one game.
You guys are going to love this place,
Yep.
okay? You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
Okay.
It's so much fun.
Okay,
It's so much fun.
Have to yell. Can I see a menu?
No, well, I'll show you how to do the menu. It gets tricky, so I'll do the menu for you.
Have you guys been here before?
Shut the fuck up. I've been here. They have not been here before. They have never been here. I've been here a couple of times.
So anyway, what do you do after a loss like that? One of the things we all do when we get suffered a loss that we didn't think was fair, or when some justice was not carried out the way we thought it should be, is we turn to our pets, right? We turn to our pets. And hashtag, he's got his cute little buddy, and he turned to his buddy and said, I need you, man. What should I do now? What should I do to get this fantasy team back on track?
Bitch, try harder.
So, that's it for the game recaps. Now we got to move on. We got to move on to some news. Lots and lots of talk about potential rule changes. Of course, the best time to have those talks is not the middle of the season, beginning of the season, whatever you want to say. And the commissioner kind of puts a kibosh on that right away. What else? Oh, the news, right. We got the corrupt commissioner. Yeah, that story has gone viral and is just exploding everywhere. I'm trying to stay out of it, but it's hard. We still have Tucker Carlson tweeting out there. Sunday night, late after the games were probably over, still looking into the Infinity Fantasy Baseball League commissioner improprieties. Possibly sabotaged his own game this week to quiet the talk of his tweaking past week scoring. Hashtag fantasy fail, hashtag scandal. I mean, look at that. It's already got 257,000 likes on it. Yeah, look at this from Donald Trump. And actually, this is interesting because this is the first tweet that he has felt the need to come back to Twitter for. He's on Truth Social, I think, as you know, his social media Twitter equivalent. He left Twitter some time ago, and look at this. I guess this controversy is large enough for him to return to Twitter, and boom, Red Wine Redbirds listens to cassettes. Red Wine Redbirds is a flat earther. Red Wine Redbirds uses a flip phone. Red Wine Redbirds cheat sheet had Gallo #1. Red Wine Redbirds hates bacon. He thinks Breaking Bad is just okay, and he drinks OJ. So basically, we've got Trump doing what Trump does, and just knocking the shit out of our commissioner. At this point, this podcast is going to steer clear of it for the time being. It could be an entire podcast in and of itself, and I expect at some point somebody will write a book or create a podcast or create a movie. It'd be kind of cool. About this whole transgression. Don't know, but we'll see. Anyway, we're moving on from that right now. So one of the things is I'm trying to keep this episode a little bit shorter, so we're really not going to go into anything else. We have, what? Oh yeah, right. It's Joey Gallo time. Yeah. Right, so we're back to the Joey Gallo saga. And yes, there was more activity this week. And we are not going to stay on Joey Gallo every single episode of the entire season. I promise you that. But as long as there's activity, we got to bring it to you. We got to talk about it. This week, there was activity. Big activity. And let's start with this. Look at this. Arizona Diablos Blancos. Sorry. Hashtag Arizona. Hashtag Diablos. Hashtag Blancos picks up Joey Gallo. Or should I call it hashtag Joey, hashtag Gallo. Anyway, he picks up and adds Joey Gallo. Look at that. Let's find out if it makes his team better. So here's some game film. Let's see if the roster and the team is actually better with Joey Gallo.
You want to take it from the top?
Yeah, let's try it.
Okay. He will rock you. The heat will roll you.
So obviously the GM of ADB realizes this right away, sees the error of his ways, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to be respectful of everybody's team's names. So I really shouldn't say ADB. I should say the GM of hashtag A, hashtag D, hashtag B saw the error of his ways and promptly threw this trade out there. Now, when you get a trade like this, I mean, you get a trade like this, this is what goes through your head.
Re locos, papi, re locos, papi, re locos, papi.
Okay, so obviously the trade is going to get rejected, and we'll see who ends up with Joey Gallo in the future, if anybody. But this gets us over to the Eskimo brother Joey Gallo world that we talked about last week. So now our Joey Gallo Eskimo brother world has extended by one. Hashtag Arizona, hashtag Diablos, hashtag Blancos has joined the fray. He is now Eskimo Brothers with hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons and Grip It and Rip It. Great. I hope you guys find a way to make that work. Now, there's a little bit more to this story, though, because there is something called the EBDB. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with this. The EBDB. The EBDB is the Eskimo Brother Database. Now, a good man, pioneer, innovative, just a genius, goes by the name of Taco, created what was the first that I know of, the first Eskimo Brothers database, so that Eskimo Brothers could keep track of their entire family lineage. And now I am proud to announce the latest sponsor of the Infinity Fantasy Baseball League podcast is Taco and his EDDB.
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. I was in the middle of a faxing. Welcome to Taco Corp World Headquarters. Introducing Taco Corp's latest venture, the EBDB, Eskimo Brothers Database. Now you can look up your Eskimo brothers, whoever they are, wherever you are. We log and catalog your Eskimo family tree for you, so all you have to do is fuck. We take care of the rest. I've been creating a vast Eskimo Brothers network database, starting with myself. As you can see Taco here, that is me. Right up there is my Eskimo Brothers. I spent a summer up in the Northwest Territories in Canada. I've been working on Kevin's Eskimo family tree as well. As you can see, Kevin is Eskimo Brothers with Ruxin's dog Kale through Jenny. Join EBDB, the Eskimo Brothers database, and find out who you've slept with has slept with.
Okay, so I guess one of the things I should say is that here at the podcast, we neither use our sponsors' products or recommend the use of our sponsors' products. You've been warned. It's up to you. You're certainly welcome to. I just want folks to know that probably going back to the beginning of the show, we don't actually use anything our sponsors try to sell on this show. We just want their money. Anyway, but this is the Joey Gallo Eskimo Brotherhood piece doesn't end here with the EDDB. The growth of the Eskimo Brotherhood of the Joey Gallo within the podcast community is a little bit too quick for comfort, so we held a special session this past week.
Okay, you're a sad, pathetic wretch of a man, so desperate to be loved that you'll actually go rifling through somebody's garbage, and there is nothing more unattractive than desperation. Yeah, so no, not him. No, talking about you. No, not him either. Yeah, I am talking about you. You know what, never mind. Your time's up.
Now, you'll see some unfamiliar faces on there. Well, they're familiar to you, but they're unfamiliar when we talk about the Eskimo Brotherhood of Joey Gallo. You will see Raleigh Fingers Your Sister in there, and you're going to see Breaking Brad. Now, through the use of the EDDB, Taco helped us realize that last season we had Breaking Brad and Raleigh Fingers Your Sister had taken Joey Gallo onto their rosters at some point during that season. So that's why they were brought into the session as well. Now, we're going to ask the audience to help us going back beyond 2023 if anybody had Joey Gallo on their roster. We've been looking through files, emails of past draft recaps, trying to find who else might have had Joey Gallo to add to the Brotherhood. I mean, as the story goes, the larger the Brotherhood, the more use the brothers get from one another. Anyway, it's a community service project we've got going on here at the podcast. So if you happen to know that you or somebody else in the league had Joey Gallo on a roster at some point in this league, going back as many years as it was around, just let us know. We'd like to add them to the EDDB. All right, it's power ranking time, and I will tell you there are a lot of questions, a lot of things up in the air. Can Red Wine Redbirds hold on to that number one spot? Can hashtag Arizona, hashtag Diablos, hashtag Blanca hold on to that number 5 spot? Is there any chance that a team that lost could actually go up in the rankings? Last week, Breaking Brad was our bottom dweller. With this past win over hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons, is it possible that they're still down there? 3 bad games with only 1 good game. I don't know. yeah, questions all around. And let's just get to it. And right now, our number 16 team is, yes, ALD3's Sour Grapes. Now, given how lousy a season they have started off and how they had some struggles last year in the everyone versus everyone, it is a surprise that this is really probably their first visit to the bottom. It's quite impressive. Let's hope they get out of there quickly. Moving on, zipping all the way up to number 5. Number 5 is, we have a new entrant. Hashtag Arizona, hashtag Diablos, hashtag Blancos fell out of the power rankings. It might have to do with the fact that they lost. It might have to do with the fact that I don't want to say hashtag 3 times every time I say their name. You be the judge. Anyway, our number 5, and this person will be so happy. They really seem to get a kick out of the power rankings in past seasons, and deservedly so. Breaking into the top 5 is Honey Nut Cheerios. Congratulations. Number 4. Okay, now this is a little bit interesting because now we've got our top 4 from last week was Red Wine Redbirds, Raleigh Fingers Your Sister, Juneau Eskimos, hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons. Do all 4 won, right? I believe all, no, oh wait, that's right. That's right. We had a loser in there. But anyway, number 4 though, even with the Red Wine Redbirds loss, they don't fall below all of our winners. Juneau Eskimos with the win this week, but still holds on and falls to number 4. Sometimes the world's just not fair. I don't know what to tell you, Juneau. You're fine. You're in that top 5. There'll be some bouncing around, but you fall to number 4. Number 3. Before I get to that, and I teased it just a little bit, it's interesting because that number 4 spot last week was hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons. They had a loss. Did they fall out, or did they rise to number 3? They did not rise to number 3. Number 3 is Red Wine Redbirds. And yes, boom, falling from number 1, 2 spots for a loss to an unranked team in Hit Pitches, Get Bitches. You got to win your games, man. You got to win your games to stay up that high. Number 2, coming in at number 2. Is this a new entrant? Is this somebody who has not been in our top 5 in the past week or 2? And the answer is no. The answer is no. Even with a loss, hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons rises. Now, how in the world does that happen? Hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons rises after a loss to the number 2 spot, which means the number 1 spot, and yes, this is true, as much as it pains me to say, and it pains me greatly to put this team in the number 1 spot, and that is Raleigh Fingers Your Sister. And you see how I broadcast that, because nobody is in my house. So I can say that out loud because in the number 1 spot, you deserve to have a little bit of volume. Anyway, that wraps up the power rankings. That wraps up our podcast for this week. Next week, I promise I don't want to dwell on the Joey Gallo thing too much. I'm going to try to run some numbers. I've got some very interesting stuff I've been looking at, and I want to share it with y'all. So anyway, good luck to everybody this week except for Matt's Marauders. And you know what? I'm going to stay with the don't wishing good luck to Red Wine Redbirds as well, because I do think their team is pretty dominant, and yeah, the less luck they have, the better. So with that, I'll say goodbye. Matt's Marauders, I hope you lose this week. Honey Nut Cheerios, I mean, you and Red Wine, this is it. Honey Nut Cheerios, look at me, focus. If you beat Red Wine Redbirds, I suspect, unless they tell me otherwise, power rankings are going to be very friendly to you because they still have a lot of respect for Red Wine Redbirds. So anyway, Honey Nut Cheerios, Red Wine Redbirds, you guys are matching up this week, looking to see if there's anything else interesting out there. Not really. Everything else looks like a pretty clear favorite or a middle of the pack kind of scrum. Anyway, everybody have a good time. See you next week. I hope.
This is bullshit. I'm fast football.
Those look plenty filthy to me, Commissioner.